The Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Program is heavily sought after by ambitious international students for a very specific reason. It provides a fully funded European degree that covers your full tuition, along with a $1,400 monthly living stipend for up to 2 years. It also grants you immediate access to the European job market. Unlike many state-sponsored scholarships, Erasmus has zero obligation to return to your home country after graduation. Because the reward is so high, thousands of international students apply every year, but most use the exact same strategy they would for a local single-campus university. They send out dozens of identical applications, relying heavily on undergraduate grades to stand out. The consortiums that run these programs reject these applications almost immediately. This high rejection rate feeds a persistent myth that you need a perfect 4.0 GPA to even be considered for an Erasmus scholarship. The reality of the admissions process is quite different. The committees are not running a raw academic filter. They are running a highly specific, holistic matching system. Two types of applicants consistently fail here. The first is the volume sender, who fires off 20 identical applications. The second is the applicant with a lower GPA, who assumes they're disqualified and gives up. To actually win this prestigious scholarship, you have to trade the low-effort volume strategy for an exhaustive, program-specific alignment strategy. Every Erasmus program uses a strict mechanical scoring rubric to evaluate candidates. This chart breaks down how those points are distributed. Your raw cumulative GPA actually accounts for roughly 30 to 40% of your total score. The remaining 60 to 70% is graded entirely on your motivation letter, relevant experience, and language proficiency. If you have a lower CGPA, your baseline score takes a hit, but the math shows a clear path to make up those lost points in the other categories. The first way to close the gap is by over-indexing on your language proficiency. Providing an exceptionally high IELTS score gives the committee concrete proof of your communication skills, securing maximum points in that bracket. The second method is crafting a hyper-targeted motivation letter. This requires directly addressing the specific research goals of the consortium, rather than just stating your general love for the subject. Finally, highly relevant work experience functions as a massive multiplier. If you spent a year working in a lab or industry directly related to the master's topic, you score heavily in the experience category. Standard university admissions usually favor recent graduates with perfect test scores. The Erasmus system operates differently. This rubric is intentionally designed to reward a holistic, targeted effort over raw academic perfection. Before a human reviewer even looks at your rubric, you have to survive the bureaucratic filters. The most rigid requirement is the formatting of your resume. European institutions expect you to use the standard Europass CV format. It is non-negotiable. If you submit a highly stylized, colorful resume or a standard North American document, you frustrate the European reviewers. In many cases, applicant tracking systems will simply eliminate your file. The next filter is relevancy. A common mistake is applying to 10 or more different Erasmus programs to artificially increase your odds. High volume requires speed. If you are rushing through 10 applications, you are writing 10 generic, surface-level motivation letters that will fail the rubric scoring. The optimal strategy is to narrow your focus to a maximum of 2 to 4 highly specific programs. You select these final programs by ensuring your prior academic and professional background matches the curriculum exactly. Selecting programs that match your specific history and adhering to rigid formatting standards determines whether an application ever reaches the evaluation committee. The core defining feature of an Erasmus Master's is compulsory physical mobility across international borders. Looking at this mobility map, you can see the requirement clearly. You must complete study semesters in at least 2 different countries within the consortium's network. The most common failure point in a motivation letter is ignoring why these countries matter to your education. Top-tier applications explicitly justify the need to study in those exact locations. They name the specific professors in France and the distinct labs in Italy, proving why access to both is required for their research. This strategy demands a trade-off. You have to double your preliminary research time to thoroughly understand the faculties of multiple institutions. Proving a deep understanding of the cross-border mobility track separates elite applicants from those who merely want a free trip to Europe. Winning an Erasmus scholarship requires the same level of depth and rigor found in an independent research project. Take the volume spammer. This applicant refuses to spend 20-plus hours tailoring a single motivation letter, opting instead to send the same generic essay everywhere. If you are unwilling to execute deep customization, you are better off targeting standard single university programs. The opposing profile is the strategic optimizer. This applicant meticulously aligns their specialized past experiences with the exact future goals of the consortium, adhering perfectly to the Europass formats and mobility requirements. The payoff for this massive upfront time investment is clearing the holistic rubric, regardless of a baseline GPA deficit. Applicants who shift from high-volume submissions to a targeted matching strategy consistently clear the score thresholds required to secure the $50,000 award.